Most people notice the same thing at some point in their lives. They work harder, they gain experience, they become more productive. Yet their financial situation barely changes. Their wages increase slowly, while everything else becomes more expensive. Rent, healthcare, education, food, insurance. It feels like running on a treadmill that speeds up every year. And the common explanation is simple. Inflation, bad policy, greedy corporations. But these explanations are incomplete. Because wages not keeping up is not a mistake. It is a feature. To understand why, you must stop thinking about wages as a measure of value. Wages are not designed to reflect contribution. They are designed to regulate behavior. This is the first thing most people misunderstand. If wages were tied to productivity, the average worker would be significantly wealthier today than they were decades ago. Productivity has increased dramatically. Technology, automation, efficiency. Workers produce more per hour than at any point in history, yet wages have barely moved. This gap is not accidental. It exists because wages serve a different purpose than people assume. Wages are a cost, and systems are designed to minimize costs, especially predictable costs. From the perspective of a system, labor is not a moral category. It is an input, and like all inputs, it is optimized for efficiency and control. Raising wages broadly creates pressure. Pressure increases expectations. Expectations increase bargaining power. Bargaining power reduces control. This is why wages are managed carefully, not frozen, not collapsed, but constrained. Enough to survive, enough to consume, not enough to escape. This balance is critical because modern economies depend on consumption. People must spend money to keep the system moving, but they must not accumulate enough power to disrupt it. This creates a narrow band where wages are allowed to exist. Outside this band, instability emerges. If wages rise too fast, inflation accelerates. If wages stagnate too severely, social unrest grows. So wages are tuned. Quietly, gradually, always behind the curve. This is why wage growth often lags inflation. Not because inflation is unpredictable, but because wage growth is deliberately reactive. Inflation can move quickly. Wages move slowly. This delay is intentional. It transfers value upward. When prices rise faster than wages, purchasing power declines. Workers earn the same number of dollars, but those dollars buy less. Where does the difference go? It flows to asset holders, those who own real estate, stocks, businesses, intellectual property. Assets adjust upward with inflation. Wages do not. This is how wealth quietly concentrates, not through dramatic events, but through time. Inflation is often described as a tax, but it is not evenly applied. It disproportionately affects those who rely on wages. Those who live paycheck to paycheck cannot protect themselves. They cannot hedge. They cannot wait. They must spend. This is why inflation feels personal to workers and abstract to asset owners. Asset owners experience inflation as growth. Workers experience it as pressure. This asymmetry is structural, and it is why wages never truly catch up. Another factor is replaceability. The more replaceable your role, the more constrained your wage. Most jobs are designed to be easily substituted. Standardized training, clear procedures, interchangeable workers. This is not an insult. It is an efficiency strategy. Replaceability keeps systems resilient. If one worker leaves, another can step in. This reduces dependency on individuals, and dependency creates leverage. Systems avoid leverage in the hands of labor, so they invest heavily in reducing it. Automation, outsourcing, standardization, all reduce the negotiating power of workers. And wages reflect negotiating power, not effort. This is another uncomfortable truth. People do not earn what they deserve. They earn what they can negotiate. And negotiation depends on leverage. Without leverage, wages stagnate. With leverage, compensation decouples from time. This is why executives and owners are paid differently. They are not paid for hours worked. They are paid for decisions made, for control exercised, for capital allocated. Their compensation scales with outcomes, not effort. Workers, on the other hand, are paid for presence. Show up, perform tasks, repeat. Presence does not scale, so wages don't either. This division is fundamental, and it is reinforced culturally. People are taught that asking for more money is greedy, that stability is virtuous, that loyalty will be rewarded. But loyalty is not a market force. It is a personal value. Markets respond to scarcity and power, not dedication. This mismatch creates frustration. Workers feel betrayed when loyalty is not reciprocated. But the system never promised reciprocity. It promised predictability. Another reason wages lag is because debt fills the gap. When wages fall behind costs, debt expands. Credit cards, loans, financing. Debt allows consumption to continue without raising wages. This is crucial. Without debt, wage stagnation would cause collapse. With debt, the system can continue. Debt postpones the consequences of wage suppression. It allows people to borrow against future labor. This keeps them productive today. But it also locks them in. Debt reduces mobility. A worker in debt cannot easily walk away. They cannot wait for better conditions. They must accept what is available. This further weakens bargaining power, which further suppresses wages. This loop is self-reinforcing. Low wages lead to debt. Debt leads to dependency. Dependency leads to compliance. Compliance leads to stagnant wages. The system does not need to enforce this. It emerges naturally from incentives. Another layer is globalization. Labor markets are no longer local. They are global. If wages rise in one region, production can shift. Outsourcing, offshoring, remote labor. This creates downward pressure on wages in high-cost countries. Workers are told this is about competitiveness, but competitiveness is just another word for leverage imbalance. Capital can move freely. Labor cannot. This asymmetry ensures that wages remain constrained. Capital always has alternatives. Workers rarely do.
This is why policy debates often focus on job creation, not wage growth. Jobs maintain stability. Wages threaten balance. Employment numbers look good even when quality declines. People are working. They are just not advancing. This creates the illusion of progress. More jobs, same stress. More productivity, same insecurity. This is not accidental. It is how systems preserve continuity.
Now consider education. Education is sold as the solution to wage stagnation. Get more skills, get a degree, become specialized. And education does help, but only temporarily. As soon as a skill becomes common, its value declines. This is basic supply and demand. When more people qualify, wages adjust downward. This is why credential inflation exists. Degrees that once guaranteed security now barely differentiate. The bar rises, costs increase, outcomes stagnate. Education delays competition. It does not eliminate it, and it often increases debt, which feeds back into the same system. This is why many educated workers feel misled. They did what they were told. They invested in themselves, but the system moved the goalposts. Not out of malice, but out of necessity. Because allowing too many people to gain leverage simultaneously destabilizes wage structures. So the system adapts, slowly, quietly, always behind the scenes. This brings us to the most important insight. Wages are not meant to create independence. They are meant to create participation. Participation in the economy, participation in consumption, participation in labor markets. Independence reduces participation. Independent individuals are harder to predict, harder to control, harder to motivate with money. So independence is discouraged, subtly, through narratives, through norms, through policy.
People who prioritize stability are praised. People who seek autonomy are labeled risky, irresponsible.
This framing keeps most people inside the wage system, even when it no longer serves them. Understanding this does not mean you should reject wages. Wages are necessary, they provide structure, they provide baseline security, but they are not a path to wealth. They are a path to stability. And confusing stability with progress is the mistake most people make. The system relies on this confusion, because stable workers keep everything running. But stability without leverage leads to stagnation. So wages never catch up, because if they did, too many people would gain options. They could refuse bad conditions. They could take time. They could invest. They could negotiate. This would shift power. And systems resist power shifts, not emotionally, structurally. The solution is not to demand higher wages alone. That treats a symptom. The deeper solution is to reduce dependency on wages, to build leverage outside of time-based labor. This does not require rebellion. It requires awareness. You must understand what wages are designed to do and what they are not. Once you see wages as a tool for regulation, not reward, your strategy changes. You stop waiting for raises to solve structural problems. You stop measuring progress only in salary. You start asking how to decouple income from time, how to build assets, how to move upstream, how to reduce exposure to inflation, how to increase optionality. These questions lead away from wage dependence, not immediately, not recklessly, but deliberately. This is not easy. It takes time and patience, which is why most people never do it. They remain focused on optimizing wages, negotiating small increases, chasing promotions, running faster on the same treadmill. The system allows this because it does not change outcomes. Real change happens when you step off the treadmill and see it for what it is, a mechanism for stability, not advancement. Once you understand this, you stop feeling confused. You stop feeling behind. You stop blaming yourself. Because the problem was never effort, it was structure. And structure only changes when position changes. Wages will never catch up, not because the system is broken, but because it is working, exactly as intended.